Hello, this is Miss Scott. I'm going to be going over Welcome to Mexico with you guys. Graphs of linear equations and inequalities. Take a look at number 1. It says, what is the slope and the y-intercept of the line represented by the equation below? Whenever a question asks us about slope or y-intercept or x-intercepts, we type the whole equation in one line in Desmos, as you can see I've done here. Now this equation right here is shown as my line in red, okay? I've got my y-axis in green and my x-axis in blue. Now where my red line intercepts my y-axis is going to be my y-intercept. So I can see that my y-intercept is 0, 3. So that says my answer is either C, because it says 0, 3, or D, all right? The next thing we need to do is find our slope. When you're finding your slope, you make sure you put a point where it crosses through the corner of a square evenly. And you can see I've done that here with these little black dots, okay? And I go up 1, 2, 3 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So up 3 over 5. Up 3 over 5. So my slope is going to be 3 over 5. This line is going up, so it is going to be a positive 3 over 5 with the y-intercept at 0, 3. All right. Number 2. Number 2 says, which is the closest to the slope of a line graphed? Again, like I said in the last problem, make sure you put points on the line where it crosses through the corners of the square evenly. When we're finding slope, we only need 2 points, but we want to make sure we find the points that are closest to each other so we don't have to reduce. So I can see here I go up 1 square over 4, up 1 over 4, up 1 over 4, up 1 over 4. So my slope is going to be 1 over 4. But if I'm reading my graph from left to right, I hit right here first, and then when I follow it, I'm going down. So this line is going down, and it is going to be a negative slope where we go up 1 over 4 or down 1 over 4, whichever way you like to say it. Number 3. It says, what is the equation of the inequality graphed? Now there's 2 things that you can remember mathematically that might help you answer this question a little bit faster. One, when I'm at my y-intercept and I draw an arrow to the shaded area, when I'm at my y-intercept and I draw an arrow to the shaded area, I'm going up, okay? When I am shading up, that means that I am greater than, okay? See how the shading is above my y-intercept and not below? It's above my y-intercept, so it's greater than. Also, this line is dotted, so it's going to be greater than and not greater than or equal to. So this right here is greater than or equal to. It's a solid line. This is not a solid line. So I know that's not it. So my answer is going to be B because of just the sign. I know that it is greater than. I can see my y-intercepts at -5. I do go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. But another way that you could have done this, you could have typed in every single one of these answer choices and matched your picture. But if you know these mathematical clues, that saves you a lot of time. But again, if you go to Desmos, you're always going to get the right answer, okay? So that's how we do number 3. Number 4. Man, we got a lot going on here. This says, what equation represents a line perpendicular to the line y equals 3x minus 4 and goes through the point -3, 2? One thing you need to remember about perpendicular lines is that they are the opposite reciprocal, okay? In other words, you flip the slope and change the sign. So my slope here is 3, okay? My slope is 3. I need, which is the same thing as saying 3 over 1 if we put it in a fraction, okay? So when I flip the slope, it now becomes 1 over 3, and when I change my sign, it becomes -1 over 3. So I know my answer is either going to be A or B, okay? Another way you can do this is, now that you know your slope, I say, hey, y equals my slope, which is -1 over 3x, plus b. B represents my y-intercept. I don't know what my y-intercept is, so that's why I put b. I also have to type in the point that it goes through, and I can see that it goes through the point -3, 2. And then I move my slider until it crosses through. So I can see that my slope is 1, positive 1, and I can see that it crosses, I'm sorry, I said slope. My y-intercept is 1, and my y-intercept is 1. So my answer would be B. But because we know that my slope is negative 1 over 3, if you forget to do this, you can just type in these and the point and see which one of those lines would have crossed through your point. All right, number 5. It says, what is the slope of the line that passes through 2, 5, and negative 1, 3? When it's asking you about your slope, we go to Desmos, we type the points in one line, making sure that you put a comma separating the 2 points. Okay? When I do that, 2 dots pop up, and if you want to make this line right here, you just hold your cursor over this button, and then the line will pop up, and it'll show up for you. So it crosses through a corner evenly here, a corner evenly there. I went up 2 over 3. And I can see that this line is going up. So my slope is going to be positive 2 over 3. All right, number 6. Got a lot going on, guys. It says, which is an equation of a line with a slope of negative 1, 4 and goes to the point 8, 6. So if I look over here, you might be used to people saying y equals mx plus b or y equals ax plus b. Either way, m or a means the same thing, and it means my slope. Okay, my b is my y-intercept. So in an equation, I have y equals my slope, my x, and my y-intercept. So I can see that in all of these answer choices, what my slopes are. Here, my slope is 4, negative 1/4, negative 1/4, and 1/4. It tells me my slope is negative 1 over 4. So I know my answer is either going to be C or D. I also know that it goes to the point negative 8, 6. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Desmos and say, hey, my slope is negative 1 over 4. I don't know my y-intercept. That's what I'm trying to figure out, so I'm going to type in plus b. When I type in the point that it goes through, because it told me that right here, I move my slider to where it crosses through, and I can see that my y-intercept is 4, and it also tells me that my y-intercept is 4 here. Okay, so then I can see my answer. Number 7, what equation best represents the graph of a line parallel to the line shown? So the first thing that you need to know is parallel lines have the same slope. They're so much easier than perpendicular. So I need to find my slope, and what I did was I put points on everywhere where it crossed through evenly through a square, but I know I only need 2. And as you can see, I go up 3 over 1, up 3 over 1, up 3 over 1. My line is going down, so it means it's negative. So my slope is negative 3 over 1, which is the same thing as negative 3. All right? So I know that the linear equation is y equals my slope, x, and y-intercept. So my slope is negative 3. So if I look over here, the only answer that has a slope of negative 3 is A. So I can see that A would be my answer because A has a slope of negative 3. Oops. All right, number 8. It says, what is the equation of a horizontal line that goes through the point negative 5, 6? So what I did over here was I drew my x and y axis. All right, my y-axis is in red, and you can see that a horizontal line would cross through my y-axis. Okay, so horizontal is always going to be y equals, and then whatever number it crosses through. Here, I can see that my x-axis is green, and that a vertical line means it crosses through my x-axis. So any vertical line is always going to be x equals, and then whatever number it's crossing through on the x-axis. Here, I can see it says horizontal, so horizontal is going to be y equals. All right, so I know my answer is either B or D, and 6 is the number in the y spot. So I know my equation would be y equals 6. If this asks me what is the vertical line, I know that vertical is x equals, and that the negative 5 is in the x spot. So if this said vertical, it'd be x equals negative 5. But it says horizontal, so it's going to be y equals 6. All right, guys, that is it. I know I went a little fast, but I have a little limited time on these videos, so hopefully you guys understood. Make sure you pause it and you go through what I'm talking about. Rewind what I'm talking about. Went through all of these steps very clearly, so if you still have any questions, make sure you email me. You can email me at Scott. Oh, no, that's not it. It's ejscott@rcps.info. Or you can text me at this phone number that the school has given me. You or your parents can call or text me, and that number is 540-328-5889. All right, bye guys.